This is Mr. JACY here. Welcome to a live reaction. Today we're going to react to Corepunk, the professions that we've been waiting for weeks. We've been waiting for weeks for this. Without further ado, let's do a live reaction, shall we? Yes! Oh yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen the menu on that before doing the... when they showed off the character customization stuff. It's so cool.
Hello everyone.
Hello!
Today we are going to tell you about the resource gathering and item crafting systems in Corepunk. That means we're talking professions.
Yes! Oh my god.
Corepunk has 4 crafting professions and 4 resource gathering professions. First, let's talk about the basic principles of how professions work.
Yes!
And a little bit about each of them individually.
Yes! It's sick!
Talk about the
Sort of a farm area.
When practicing any type of profession, the player receives experience not only to develop their skill in that profession, but also to level up the hero. Each profession in the game has 3 mastery levels. By increasing the mastery level, the player receives a new title. At level 1, you're a beginner. At level 2, you are advanced. And finally, at level 3, you become a master.
Oh, that is so cool. So you get titles and stuff like that. That's epic. Looks like we're in sort of a farm area. In the bottom, you can see the health bar, the mana bar, the equipment on the right, and the compass is at the bottom, not on the top left anymore. And also there's the chat over there. Oh my god. Are you seeing this? Oh my god. Are you seeing this? The map! It's OP! Oh my god, oh my god, this reminds me of Fallout. Like, you know, the little thing they do in the arms, it reminds me of Fallout. That is awesome.
In terms of game design, we are not always advocates of rigid distinctions. More often than not, we favor mechanics where there is a choice, and that choice has both positive and negative consequences. The player can practice all kinds of gathering and crafting professions by gathering and crafting most of the items in the game. But players can only gather the rarest resources and craft the best items if they focus on one gathering profession and one crafting profession. To do this, in addition to the mastery levels mechanic, every profession in the game also has its own efficiency. What's efficiency?
Oh, efficiency?
Well, profession efficiency increases as you practice that profession, but your efficiency in the other professions decreases.
Oh, interesting.
Simply
Very
put,
interesting.
the more you practice the same profession, the more effective you are at it. Just as the 4 gathering professions have a shared efficiency, so do the 4 crafting professions as well.
So basically, if you focus on one, your efficiency will go up, and if you focus on something else, it will decrease, I assume. It's a really weird concept. I have to get used to it when I actually play the game, but very interesting. And I noticed that there's information stuff over the screen. I really like
I have a good
that.
feeling about this. Getting me steps up.
So, when gathering resources, the efficiency only increases if you gather a resource corresponding to the level of that profession. You are thus rewarded for gathering resources that are challenging to your character at that time. Let's review a short example. If you pay attention to the icons of the gathering professions to the left, you will see their efficiency around the icons. Let's cut the tree down.
Oh. A magic tree.
Whoa,
So you can highlight.
This improved
Highlight the tree and
efficiency
it shows you the
decreases if you
thing.
use another gathering profession. So, once again, specializing is key. As for crafting, its efficiency will only increase if the player crafts an item whose gear score is high enough relative to their profession level.
And also the icon has the name of the tree as well. And it shows you what you're getting as well on the icon. I like that.
Excellent. Please note how the efficiency has changed. logging has risen while herbalism efficiency has dropped. Efficiency
went down to
decreases for the profession
5.
that has not been used the longest. It is important to note that the higher the mastery level and efficiency of the profession, the more difficult it will be for the player to switch professions, since the player will have to gather rarer resources and craft higher level items to increase their efficiency.
Okay.
Assuming that the player's goal is maximum efficiency for the chosen profession, it will be hardest to do after you reach your hero's level cap in the endgame. The player
is
receives
level
various
40.
bonuses and perks for mastery levels and increasing efficiency. Let's talk about the resource gathering professions first: mining, logging, herbalism, and butchery. For example, when it comes
Butchery's
to the
the new
gathering
one.
professions, as the mastery levels up, opportunities to mine higher level veins get unlocked. The overall chance of finding a resource increases, and there are additional gathering sessions for gathering a resource. Meanwhile, efficiency can affect the chance of receiving a rare resource, or can reduce the chance of failure.
Seems simple enough. I love the map. Oh, you can zoom out really far.
The process of gathering in the game is quite simple and intuitive. The player needs to find something worthy and start gathering a resource.
What do we have here?
An interface
no
bar will
focus.
appear at the bottom of the screen, displaying the process.
Which I noticed.
While the bar is moving, the player has a chance of receiving one of the resources. There can be a wide variety of resources in a single spot, from the most common to very rare. When you find a resource, you receive a corresponding pleasant notification. You never know how lucky you might be, or unlucky. The player might find nothing. It happens. But even if you manage to find a resource, don't relax just yet. There is always a small chance of failing and losing your loot. Yes, that happens too.
You can
Mining
lose
has
your
3
loot,
tiers
bro.
of veins: metal, polymetal, and ancient. With an increase in the
Ancient.
tier of the vein, the chance of getting more resources increases. For example, you can get not 1 ore, but 2 at once, and even more from the vein of the 3rd tier. The rarer the resource, the higher the vein required to mine it. Epic resources can only be mined from tier 3 veins. In mining, the player can mine ores of various metals, crystals, nuggets, ancient fossils, just to name a few.
Wow, wow, wow. We need to go back a little bit here. I'm liking the icons here. So there's common, epic, and there's a, well, I think the epic, yeah, I like the icons. I really do. So there's a bit of iron there. There's different crystals. There's purple. I assume there is legendary, but it's gonna be really, really rare to find. So there's 3 layers towards it. That's kind of interesting, and it can produce more ores if you have more of a profession for it. That I'm liking it.
Now this is all right.
Logging is about taking advantage of the trees that have the strongest and deepest root systems. Those trees have roots that reach deep enough underground to access lakes of precious mana. Such trees are rare in the forests of 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉. These trees also fall into 3 tiers: magic tree, old magic tree, and ancient magic tree. The higher the tier of the magic tree, the higher the chance of getting larger and more precious resources. From trees, we can get magic wood, which has unique qualities of hardness, and campfires from such wood have special effects, like restoring strength and energy reserves to living beings. You can also get various types of resins, bark, feathers, and even honey.
Oh, we have to pause right here. Yet again, you get different resources. We get woods, we get honey, we get feathers, mushrooms by the looks of it, some kind of a green leaf there, some weird bogey, some kind of crystallization, and another type of wood there that's a common. I think ancient stuff is going to be the rarest thing to get between, you know, cutting wood and bushes and doing any other things like that. It's interesting.
Talk about the good stuff.
If you pursue herbalism profession, you'll be collecting resources from large and dense 𝙀𝙑𝙋𝘼𝙉 bushes. Such bushes are whole ecosystems that live by their own rules, and the older and larger the bush, the more valuable resources it may contain. Bushes also come in 3 tiers: thick bush, old bush, and ancient bush. The larger the bush, the more complex the life that flows within it, and accordingly, the more expensive and rare the resources it can yield. A lot of different useful resources can come from these bushes: herbs, plants, insects, berries, and many more.
Okay, we have to pause it right there. We get to see the icons again. We see the eat that weird plant that eats insects, and the rarest one is a snail. We did see the guy harvesting the bush earlier, and he got the 4-leaf clover, which is kind of interesting. And there's like 3 different types. So I like it. It's like thick bush. I really do. Other than that, yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting how this mechanic's gonna work.
Getting my steps in.
Oh, a turtle. Level 3 turtle. So basically, you can actually hold a spear. The more you hold it, the more powerful you get.
The specialist in butchery skillfully dissects animal carcasses, retrieving organs intact, ready for crafting. But not all animal carcasses are suitable or of value. The creatures of 𝙀𝙑𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 lead hard and brutal lives, so that often the organs and body parts retrieved have pathologies that render the components extracted unsuitable for use in craft machines. Animals may sustain injuries in the hunt that despoil the resources that they could have yielded. Those experienced in butchery, though, can identify those carcasses most suitable for butchering, and the most experienced are able to identify the bodies of animals that have grown in ideal natural conditions and may offer up the highest quality materials for collection. Carcasses come in the lower, middle, and prime categories. In the butchery profession, you are able to acquire bones, vertebrae, living blood, eyes, cartilage, and many other grisly resources.
Okay. I have to pause it right there again. Sorry about this. So you could get a spine, different types of bones. I like the eyeball and the heart. I assume that all these items that we're gathering is gonna be for like boosting like artifacts, making weapons and other things. That's the whole point of harvesting stuff. And I think it's going to be the most profitable thing to do is to get all the items, because people will need iron, people will need gold, people will definitely need like the spines or the hearts or the eyes or whatever to craft things. This is going to be interesting and grindy at the same time.
Usually the best veins are the hardest to find. But once again, you'll know that the effort has been worthwhile when a vein yields up the very rarest of resources, allowing you to craft the very best in-slot items. And of course, if you are outside the safe zone in the wasteland, don't get too relaxed.
Okay, definitely don't get relaxed. Here's some PvE stuff. We got an imp winch and we got an imp servant. Interesting. There's 3 of them. They attack as a group. They have to be really careful. Wait. Whoa. Did the imp winch just literally absorb the servant's health? Oh, that mechanic is way overpowered, bro. So the actual enemies do have magical abilities. There we go again. That purple shield that surrounds the imp winch. Just I don't know what it's called, but I'm gonna call it absorbing the health. But leech. Basically, it's a leech ability to steal your opponent's health, and I assume that the witch can steal your own health as well if she really wants to. Oh, that's sick. Oh my god. If you look at the map, you can still see the enemies just following. The aggro of the combat actually chases this person for a really long time. Oh wow! So you have to be really careful in combat. So if you're gonna run, you have to run away. And I assume that you have to listen to when the combat is ended, or if you're far enough, they probably run away like they did right there. And I assume that he's gonna put the campfire down, and that's gonna restore his health and restore his mana at the same time. And you can craft this in your craft this as well if you want to, as long as you've got the ingredients.
The world of 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝙿 is a tough place, especially outside the city walls and safe zones, out in the wastelands. Dangerous, yes, but also supremely profitable. You never know what will be waiting for you around the next corner. Rare loot or some terrifying new enemy. If you encounter an enemy camp, be sure you have what it takes to finish the job before you dive in. Maybe alone, picked off one by one, these guys would have been easy targets. But working in a group as they do, they present a serious threat, even to the most seasoned warriors. After a tough fight, it's best to rest for a bit and recover. Going out into the wastelands, roaming and looting, means you have to be prepared to fight at any time. But anything valuable you find is going to count for nothing if you can't bring it back in one piece. Therefore, a smart player checks their inventory often. A stockpile of painkillers and plenty of campfire kits. These things can make the difference between life and death. It is also equally important to note that resources, and items in general, are gathered in Corepunk not only from veins, trees, bushes, and carcasses.
That is for the big guy.
You can find resources, artifacts, and consumables, including very rare ones, in drops all over the world.
The world is massive, by the way. We saw the leak of the actual map, it's huge.
What's all this then?
Try searching corpses,
wow, you got
breaking
purple
barrels and
cosmetics,
crates, ransacking abandoned houses, exploring points of interest, opening secret chests, killing mobs, etc. With any type of activity, you have an opportunity to receive loot and perhaps even skins. But of course, if we are talking about resources, it's much more profitable to do it through gathering.
Yeah, gathering is gonna be a huge thing. Oh, you can swim. We saw this before in the
Let's talk about the crafting professions. Corepunk, as we said before, has 4 crafting professions: construction, alchemy, weaponsmithing, and mysticism. The crafting professions in Corepunk have their own unique sets of permanent upgrades that don't overlap with any of the other professions. There are minor exceptions in regard to some temporary buffs though. For instance, alchemy and mysticism can both produce temporary buffs and item upgrades.
Oh, that's kind of interesting because that's the two that I want to be.
The attribute buffs a hero can gain from artifacts are unique to those artifacts. You cannot get these parameters permanently anywhere else, while weaponsmith characteristics and upgrades are only unique to weaponsmithing, no exceptions.
So the weaponsmith is unique.
In this way, you cannot permanently stack attack power or spell power in all systems at once. Limited time buffs are not taken into account though. Every crafting profession has its own unique bonus that affects the hero's gameplay. We will tell you about them a little bit later. When the hero reaches level 40, all profession bonuses are only active if the player has achieved 100% efficiency in the given profession.
Okay, oh my god, the rain is awesome. I like the sound effects as well. Oh, look at the pigs! Oh, ray tracing confirmed? I can see my reflections. That's gonna be kind of interesting.
Got to get moving.
And thunderstorms as well, nice.
Next, a little bit about itemization. Most items in the game have 4 grades: common, uncommon, rare, and epic. However, there are also legendary items out there, but they are extremely rare, Oh yes, indeed.
Cool.
Items are divided into tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, and so on. Items are also divided into two kinds: bind on pickup and bind on equip. This does not apply to consumables. Bind on pickup items cannot be exchanged between players, but bind on equip items, if they have not yet been used, can be exchanged without restrictions. Items in Corepunk have a gear score calculated depending on that item's power. The scaling and characteristic values, as well as the chances of triggering effects on items, randomly roll within their set values. Items in the game don't break, and they have no durability rating. During crafting, the player always has an opportunity to craft a higher quality item, up to epic. As you would expect, items become stronger as their grade increases, with different types of items having different kinds of buffs. For example, artifacts have an additional characteristic added to the secondary basket as their grade increases, while weapons have an additional upgrade slot added as their grade increases. Chips and runes with a higher grade have their effect scaling increased, and alchemy consumables can be crafted with a quantity exceeding 1. As an item tier increases, it expands the upper limits within which the effect values can roll too. Let's move on to crafting. Crafting items is simple. In Corepunk, almost all items are crafted using the same simple principle. A Tier 1 item is crafted first, from looted resources. In order to craft Tier 2 or higher items, the player needs to use items of the previous tier as resources, plus additional rarer resources that a Tier 2 recipe requires. But items used for crafting must be uncommon. To start crafting, you need to be at the appropriate profession workbench, open the crafting menu, have a recipe for the required item, and also have the required amount of resources. As soon as you start crafting an item, the crafting bar will appear in the UI window below, just as with the gathering professions. In the process of crafting, the player always has a chance to craft an item of better quality than the recipe generates by default, or in the case of alchemy, a chance to generate more than one of whatever consumable you're concocting.
So basically, combining common weapons into rare items and then rare items to
just like with the gathering professions,
items.
there are special bonuses in the crafting professions as your mastery levels up. In contrast to the gathering professions though, where the bonuses are shared between all professions, every crafting profession has its own unique set of bonuses that affect the hero's gameplay. That said, there are several ways to craft one and the same item. To craft certain items with a higher gear score, you will require the maximum level of profession efficiency. Some items can be crafted without a workbench, such as campfire or roll a joint. Special items will require the player to find a specialized rare workbench to craft them.
Okay. So basically the workstations, I believe, because they're rare, will be only located in cities, I assume. But not all cities will have all of them, but this city in particular has all of them. And I just noticed on the compass you can actually, oh, and on the map as well, you can actually see the icons for the different tables, and I'm assuming the different shops as well. Maybe you could change that in the settings. I don't know if you can actually mark things on the map or not. We'll have to find out. I know you can. I know that you can ping in the map if you have a group of party. You can ping on the map. They showed that earlier.
Getting a sweat on.
And the floorboards actually moved. We saw that
Yeah.
in one of the log posts. I like it. By the looks of things, there's no stamina for the swimming or anything like that. But I assume there might, if you stay too long in the water, there might be enemies. Who knows? I like the music. I like the sounds. Visual-wise, it looks amazing. Corepunk. Well done.
Slog.
Well done.
Well, it's about time we looked at the crafting professions themselves. Here's the construction profession. This is all about crafting artifacts. items that are inserted into the active panel on the hero's screen. Artifacts have two baskets of characteristics, primary and secondary. The primary artifact basket carries basic characteristics in the game, such as attack power, spell power, health, mana, armor, magic resist, physical crit chance, and magical crit chance. The secondary basket carries a set of characteristics that include such parameters as cooldown reduction, buff duration, vision radius, increased area effects, increased control duration, tenacity, health regeneration, mana regeneration, and many more. As the item quality increases, characteristics are added to the secondary basket. A Tier 1 artifact has one basic characteristic in the primary basket. The player can create Tier 2 artifacts, combining these characteristics with each other in any variation. And when creating a Tier 3 artifact, it is possible to combine 3 characteristics with each other in any variation. It is important to note that if the player uses artifacts of the previous tier, rare or higher when crafting, they will receive additional characteristics in the secondary basket. As the construction profession levels up, you receive a bonus for using artifacts. For example, the player will get plus 5% for using artifacts at level 2 and plus 10% at level 3. It's also worth remembering that the bonus does not affect the crafting of an item, but rather the use of the item by the player, i.e. the characteristics of the item itself don't change.
Now this is
Oh, I see. So basically it's like enchantments from Minecraft. But I like it, you can just, like, you know, create like hundreds of common ones and have like one common with like an attack and one common with like health
on the march.
and maybe one common with whatever, and then you could combine them and you could just enchant them. And if you have like an epic
I'll take that.
or rare item with a specific thing that you want in your main armor slot, that's gonna be amazing, meaning that you know exactly what you want. And parkour is confirmed. Oh my god. I know that Evan's gonna add some parkour shenanigans in this world just to get to like secret loot and things like that. Oh, I can see it right now. I like the work tables. They're massive, so you can tell which is which.
Weaponsmithing is where the player crafts weapons and bioorganic chips, which are essentially weapon upgrades. Weapons in the game have fixed stats: damage per second, DPS, weapon damage, and attack speed. As the weapon tier increases, it expands the limits within which these characteristics can be rolled. Weapons in Corepunk can be upgraded. It's through weapon upgrades that the most powerful weapons in the game can be acquired. As the grade increases, a weapon receives upgrade slots. The higher the quality of a weapon is, the more upgrade slots it has. Chips can be inserted into these slots. Every slot has its own bonuses that are rolled at random when you receive the weapon. To receive a slot bonus, the slot and the chip that is inserted must have the same icons. Chips can come in 2 variations. An advanced chip is inserted into an advanced slot, and a standard upgrade chip is inserted into a standard slot. Advanced chips have effects on weapons that are unique for this system, and can be triggered when dealing damage to an enemy. Every chip has either magic or physical effects. Standard upgrade chips, however, give an increase in stats, such as attack speed, haste, weapon damage, spell power, physical crit power, magical crit power, armor penetration, and magic penetration. As mentioned previously, stats like these are unique for this system and cannot be permanently stacked anywhere else. Crafting weapons and their upgrades follows the same logic as with the construction profession, and the other crafting professions in fact. So once again, to create a higher tier item, you must have 2 uncommon items of the previous tier. If the player uses higher quality items, rare or epic items for crafting, the weapon they will receive will have extra slots, and the advanced chip will have extra effects too. It's time to look at an advanced chip and its effects. The Execute Advanced chip will be used as an example. So here we took the best quality item that was crafted from 2 epic chips of the previous tier 1. Here you can see all the possible effects. There is a mark on the chip that defines the effect of the chip. An advanced chip can be inserted into a slot with any mark, and it will work, but you won't get any slot bonus. In order to receive a slot bonus, it's important that the slot has the same mark as the chip. So, as you can see, this advanced chip has a proc chance and a proc condition. So let's look at what the effects could be on this particular chip. Its main effect is that it gives you a chance to execute an enemy. The first additional effect, if the target dies, you will heal for 50% of the killing damage, appears if the chip has been crafted from 2 rare Tier 1 chips. The second additional effect is executes at 25%, improves the proc condition, and appears if the chip has been crafted from 2 epic Tier 1 advanced chips. Advanced chips have a limited number of charges. Each time the effect is triggered, 1 charge is removed. The player can recharge an advanced chip in the inlay window. It's a good idea to carry extra charges with you before an important foray into the world, and just in general.
I wonder if you could put that into if it would work in PvP though.
Time to consider profession bonuses. In weaponsmithing, as you move up to 3 mastery levels, you'll see improvements in weapon efficiency. Time to give you the lowdown on the synthesis machine. This impressive device is needed to craft items beyond standard recipes, or to craft without a recipe. If the items used as ingredients are of a higher quality than those specified in a given recipe, the synthesis machine will produce for you an item that has additional bonuses.
Storage box to your service.
Oh, we got a storage box.
you?
I wonder how big of a storage thing we're gonna have. I'm hoping it's gonna be a large storing place. But I
What
assume
is
that this
this
is like the
place?
starting off
These are the
one.
lands of the kingdom of 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿.
Because he's a low,
And these are
he's
free
the like
lands
what, level
outside the
7?
safety of the town. But don't worry. Everything you leave with me will be safe.
Because I don't think we're in the wasteland, I think
Who
we're like
are
in the
you?
beginning part, so I don't think there's any PvP.
We offer our clients the best storage options. The experience of our customers is
And I
our
like the
first
way
priority.
like every single NPC actually speaks and has voices. I like that. Only 70 slots. Ooh. So in our inventory on the right hand side we have 70. And on the left, this one has
The
70
synthesis
as well.
machine can also improve the quality of items you already have, change their characteristics, reroll their stats, and even alter an item's visuals, to name just a few of its other functions. The synthesis machine has 2 disadvantages though. The first one is that it's expensive to use. For some operations, requires consumables that may be very rare. And the second one is that it's not fully implemented yet, so we can't show you how it works right now. You will see it in the beta, and will be able to try it out yourself.
Interesting. I can't wait for the beta.
Skins play a big part in how your hero looks, though they are purely cosmetic and don't change your hero's stats. The synthesis machine can be used to upgrade the skins you've got. To do that, you need upgrade kits, another rare resource in the game. First, you put your lower grade skin item into the synthesis machine, before adding some upgrade kits. At this point, if you want, you have the option to throw some valuable resources into the mix. Then if you're lucky and get the combination of resources, as well as their respective quantities right, not only will you get a higher grade skin, but you will also end up with a skin made of different materials, giving it a distinctive visual appearance. Usually you can wear up to 6 skin items at once: bodysuit or underwear, lower body, upper body, gloves, and shoes. Some skin items may take 2 or more slots at once, depending on their structure and design. You can combine skin items from different skin sets too, to achieve exactly the look you're going for. There's literally millions of different combinations. You're free to express yourself.
Going for a
And this is just one of the many possibilities that the synthesis machine opens up to you.
A million combinations for customization. And please note the customization doesn't do anything with the player, it's just for looks. It doesn't boost anything. Only runes and artifacts boosts the character only. Oh my god, this is gonna be huge. I know there's gonna be a wiki out there, but that's a problem. it's gonna cost a lot, and finding the right items is gonna take a long time. And I assuming to get those specific items, you need to fight, like, you need to go into raids and defeat big, massive bosses with parties and stuff like that. I guarantee it. But a million combinations. And you can, and once you know what combination that you want, so say that I want to be a skeleton, all you need is an eye of newt, a skeleton piece, I don't know, honey, iron, gold. Once you know what you need, and probably one rare item, you can guarantee, once the wiki is up, you can customize whatever you want. You could be a skeleton guy, you could be Princess Peach, who knows? Oh my god, the sky's the limit if there's like a million combination. I don't know if that's per item or if there's a limited amount of customizations that you can do, like the body parts. Is it up to 1,000? Who knows? But you can. They said that you can re-roll the stats as well. I think that's going to use the really, really hard to get items, and like they mentioned before, it's going to be really expensive. And I don't think it's the Fate-hearted, but I'm hoping there might be an auction house or a place where you can buy items and sell items. I think that's going to be the best items to get if you want to re-roll stuff. Are they using a controller? They're using a controller. What? What is this? I didn't even notice that before. I still like the information stuff. So I assume that you can click on the eye and it gives you more information what the item is.
I need to get...
Yes?
How are you?
I'm kind of busy here with my job, okay? Keeping all those 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝙉 officials happy with my reports on you Outworlders.
Outlaws?
What is this place?
Yeah, I think that too. Real nice place. Just keep your distance, all right?
Who are you?
Sorry, what? I can't hear you in this suit. The toilet is over there. Yes? Another virus spreader from the outside needs a medical certificate. Well, I couldn't care less about what flus or plagues you brought here from your world, but others do. If you want to stay here, you have to get the shot. And I'm not going to make the vaccine anytime soon, so you'll have to craft it yourself. Here's the recipe. Craft the vaccine. You can use my crafting table. The ingredients are outside of town. Inject yourself, then speak to me if you're still able. Good luck.
Are we in an isekai MMO? What? We're not originally from this world? We're outsiders? Did we crash land into this world? Did we teleport here by a wormhole? This is like an isekai Corepunk MMO game? This is, oh my god, this is like an anime kind of scenario. We heard rumors. We found leaks. By watching the videos, we went into depth each frame by frame. The only things when the community came up with was, because of some hints to do towards the quest, was space, and that was pretty much it with that. I will look into more in depth about that to do with the space part, but this confirms a lot of theories out there, and none of the theories came from we're not from this planet. I don't think. What I found out, in my opinion, I don't think I found any information. All I found out was about space and space alone, and there was no more of that. But this here is a huge spoiler, Corepunk. What the hell, dudes? Why did you have to spoil the game?
Have a good feeling about this.
But I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited.
In alchemy, everything is both simple and interesting. You'll get to craft all kinds of consumables that give temporary buffs. You'll be making medicines, vaccines, and ointments, as well as rolling joints and doing a whole lot else. During crafting, the alchemy master doesn't have to contend with quality procs and worry about their impact, because these are consumable items and so don't have different quality grades. When crafting alchemy consumables though, the player can get a proc that might enable them to make 2 or 3 consumables at once instead of 1. Also, every consumable has a limited duration on its buff, and the player will have to use a lot more consumables in the next tier of crafting to increase this duration. The reward will be a long-lasting buff that will come in handy when traveling through the wildlands of 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿. In Corepunk, the player can have several alchemy buffs at the same time, and the number of buffs that can take effect simultaneously depends on the profession level. With each new mastery level, the number of alchemy buffs used simultaneously will increase. A player who is focused on alchemy will feel more comfortable when exploring the most difficult and harsh locations of the wildlands.
I don't know if 𝙀𝙬𝙔 is the name of the world, or the name of the city, or the name of the continent they're in. I have no idea.
Yes? All vaccinated? Let me look at you. Red eyeballs, dry lips, swelling limbs. Yep, worked perfectly. Here's your certificate. Now get the hell out of here already.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Look how much XP you got. So it's better to do quests. The more quests you do, the better XP you're gonna get. So any side quests, main quests, or whatever. I'm hoping that when you click on the quest, it actually tells you where to go. Because a dummy like me will have no idea where he's gonna go. I like the tables. They're unique workbenches. They're not like
Now,
the same thing.
let's look at mysticism. This profession is all about crafting runes. Runes are upgrades for artifacts. Runes enable the player to upgrade artifacts by placing seals on them. Seals add special mechanics to player gameplay, and in some cases, can be a great addition to a certain build or playstyle. Runes are thus another important layer of progression and hero building gameplay in the overall system. The player can upgrade items without restrictions, but the number of artifacts with rune effects that they can carry at the same time is limited. The principle of rune effects is mechanically in many respects similar to how advanced chips work on weapons. But unlike advanced chips, runes have very different proc conditions. They are more permanent and more predictable. Let's look at the Hedgehog rune as an example. The main effect of this rune is when struck by an attack, deal physical damage to the attacker. As the rune grade increases, so does the effect scaling. And as the tier increases, it expands. As with chips, the limits within which the effect values can be rolled. Just as in the example with the advanced chip, we have 2 additional effects. Slows enemy by 10% for 1 second appears on a rune if it was made from rare runes of the previous tier. And the second additional effect, reduces enemy attack speed by 15% for 3 seconds, is added if epic tier 1 runes were used during rune crafting. The bonus of the mysticism profession is that the higher the mastery level is, the more equipped rune artifacts the player can use.
Yeah, that's going to be really important, and that's what I want to go into with the bonuses.
Thank you for watching.
Oh my god.
Sign up for beta
So
at
good.
Corepunk.com.
So brilliantly good. Thank you so much, Corepunk. That was amazing. There's a lot to dig in. There's a lot to progress. Looks like a bit of a summary here. We're from another world. God knows how we ended up in this world. There's a lot of professions. If you choose a specific profession, there's efficiency. So you have to be focused on one proficiency. Because if you do a different proficiency, the other proficiency will go down. That's going to be a very interesting mechanic. I don't know if everybody's liking that mechanic. We have to give it a go. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it gives the player, basically this mechanic gives the player to, you know, experiment a few things, because we don't know what professions are going to be the most popular one, because depending on what you pick, it's basically what you're going to be selling and stuff. For me, runes are gonna be. It's gonna be one of the professions I'm gonna choose, because the more runes I have with my armor pieces, the more I can do. So, like they mentioned as an example, if the enemy hits me, I could pierce through the armor by, was it 5 or 10% each tier of things. Imagine having, I don't know how much. I think it was 3 was the maximum you can have for slots. So that's what I'm gonna aim for, and be definitely gonna be selling those. It's gonna be easier to sell in those because it's not locked behind the pickup system and what they mentioned before. I forgot what they mentioned. It's really confusing. Otherwise, hopefully you enjoyed. If you guys want me to go into depth about the different things, I have my opinions about that, please leave a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Other than that, live long and prosper, guys, and peace.